The Staincast.
What is the Staincast?
Stain?
Stain. Who is Stain?
Am I dreaming? Yes.
Stain.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to this week's episode of the Staincast. As of course you can see, we got myself, we got the other co-host E, also known as Hag, and he wasn't here last week, but he's here now. The kid, welcome.
Really good, everyone. Chilling.
Welcome to the
Yes,
party.
welcome back to Smile. Good horror movie.
Great horror movie. I was gonna say great horror movie, actually.
Yeah, it's as the title said, we're covering Smile this week. We haven't done horror in a while. It's spooky season. We had a lot of superhero movies and shows and all that other stuff.
No more
So-
of that.
Sure.
Yeah, so we're going a little back to formula here. Something nice and simple, at least from our perspective of reviewing it. Nothing really new. New episode of Loki. We're 2 episodes now into the new season. I think last week when we talked about it, I did not watch it yet. I've watched the 2 now. I mean, it's like not to like sidestep what I was saying when I was saying it's going to be mid or like whatever I said, but like I mean it's kind of what you'd expect out of a season 2 of an amazing season 1. Like it really didn't stray. I don't think there's much variance between like for season 1, season 2 just really do feel like they picked up right where the other ones ended, and I mean, good. I don't know.
Yeah, Dio, it's cutting out a lot.
I
Of course
did not
it
hear
is.
a
Of course
single
it is.
thing you just said.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't hear a single word you said.
Not a single
This shit
thing.
is awful, man. I can't.
Not a single thing you just said.
Nice. Good job. That's
Like you.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the Loki season 2 has been. It's lived up to the first
Yeah.
season, rightfully so. I mean, it's just the introduction to Ouroboros as a character is fantastic. I love him so far. He's hysterical, and just the way that they're building off what happened in the first season and trying to explain more of what's going to be happening in Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars and whatever. It's just it's done so very well with great storytelling, and Tom Hiddleston is just that guy. And the intro to season
Right.
2, I won't spoil it for those that haven't watched it, but the intro to season 2 is some of the best we've got from Loki so far, in my opinion.
Yeah, that second episode, that intro, yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was some tough Loki shit.
Yeah.
Right
That's
That was the
true.
Loki
Yeah.
we've been asking for
Mhm.
fucking 10 plus years right
there.
now.
For years, yeah, for him to
Yeah.
actually use his abilities, but I won't spoil it because it's so new. But it's good.
It's
I like
good.
it's back to formula to the Marvel show, like what they started with the first Loki is like I feel like they're going back to that TV show type formula, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same team that was working on Loki season 1, so I mean, that's good, rightfully so. I think the only thing that changed is the director, which this director's doing great so far. It's great, and the score. Gotta give a shout out to the score. The score of Loki is so tough.
Shit goated.
That is so tough. It I listen to it
She just-
on my free time sometimes because it's just that tough.
Yeah. I just like how it's like has a theme to it. Like it's not just random notes. It's not just different instruments all over the place. It's like you have that whatever instrument she uses that like I forgot what you call it, but like that the weird noise that it makes. Like it's just very. It's kind of like come to define Loki as a show. Like that instrument itself, and I think it's just impressive because there really has like soundtracks kind of never miss. When it comes to most
Mhm.
big budget movies, I think like a lot can be said about how maybe ticky tacky and wiki like how kind of shitty the movie is itself. But for even the sequels had a good ass soundtrack. Like they're kind of independent of each other. But where this show kind of blends them both together and has like those signature instruments like I was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, a movie's success, in my opinion, also depends on its soundtrack. Because if there's some
Mhm.
goofy shit going on, and you're playing like a heartwarming song, like it's not gonna like
It
unless
ain't
it's a
gonna work.
parody movie like that. It's not gonna like you need the soundtrack to go along with it. And the way that Loki does it, and just I think Natalie Holt is the the person who made the score. I don't know what that's called. Off the
Yeah,
top.
she's a composer. Yeah, I was looking. It says she's a theremin for that sound electronic instrument you're talking about.
Yeah.
That 50s sci-fi. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
what I was
it's
wondering because it's not anything I've heard before.
it's done
Mhm.
so masterfully, and it's used so well, and every theme and like the '70s remix that we got in season 2 to the Loki theme is so good. Like it's just groovy, and
Needed that
I
often.
fuck with
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. No, it's been very good so far. Like the best I can say it is like for anyone who likes season 1, this really is just season 1, but obviously continued. Just kind of it's kind of like the consequences. It's like the falling action of all the shit that happened in season 1. So can't speak
Which
on
is
anything
nice.
yet
Needed to
though.
see
It
that.
is exactly. It's only been 2 episodes, so we'll see. We'll see if it gets better or worse. Hopefully. I mean, sky's the limit with what we've seen so far.
Hopefully better. They can do
Yeah.
whatever they want now. They got the Fox characters. They got so much shit more
Yeah,
they can do now.
there's so much that they can build on, and
Hopefully.
Yeah, I
and there's been a lot of
Yeah, I
rumors
mean,
about
a man
Deadpool
can
3.
hope. A man can hope.
Definitely excited for what's to come.
Yep. But besides that, there really isn't that much other new stuff that's coming out right now. Obviously, still the
Not
actor
yet.
strike
Spider-Man 2.
going on.
Yes, sir.
Spider-Man 2. Yes,
Oh, that's
sir.
true.
Needed that.
That's true. That's
Fucking
it.
Sweet
When this
man.
comes
48 hours,
out,
basically.
I don't know if I guess we'll release this on a Friday. So by the time you guys are listening to this, Spider-Man 2 will already be out. So if you haven't bought it, if it's not currently downloading to your PlayStation or just PlayStation, if it's not currently downloading to your PlayStation, you out of your fucking mind because you got to get in
You're
that.
looking real soft.
Yeah, you
looking
got-
weak
you-
right
you-
now.
You gotta tap the fuck in. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
balls
so-
deep playing that game right now. Like I'm gonna be very well into it by the time you guys are probably watching this.
Yeah, I'm about to complete that game like in 2 days. Not
Yeah.
even kidding. That's
Yeah.
just the story. But the side quest and platinum probably gonna take me another 2 days.
I plan on completing this game ASAP. So
Yeah, 48-hour type beat completion.
yes, sir.
Wait, did you see any of you guys see the new suits for the game yet?
Nope.
They
I
released
saw
some
a couple
tough.
of
Do you want me to tell you one of them? It's tough. It was already like a review for the game. They are allowed to show. You want me to tell you it?
Sure.
It was tough. So Miles has like like the Wakanda Forever like Shuri suit. He has that type of suit, but like the Spider-Man theme Wakanda like suit. It's tough. It's like the black and gold suit, and you got the Wakanda ears and shit. It's tough. It's a tough
Okay.
suit.
I think I
Yeah,
saw
it's
that one.
nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was in there for it was like for a review for the game. But the shit they're allowed to show off. It was tough. Yeah, that's the only thing I'll show you guys because it's nice not knowing anything now.
Yeah, I'm going in almost completely blind for this.
Yeah.
Purposely so.
Understandable.
I don't want to know nothing.
Yeah, but besides that, we can just jump right into the movie if you guys are all cool with that. Let me get my notes. So, like the title said, we're covering Smile this week.
Yes, sir.
Classic horror. I mean, it's a little too soon to call it classic, but I mean,
It
for
just
my
came
last-
out. What do you mean classic? It came out last
I
year.
mean, I know. All right, I was freaking addressing it.
I call it
but
a
I
hood
mean,
classic. I'll call it a hood
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah, it is definitely a hood classic. I really liked it, especially this is my
I'm not a
third
big
watch.
horror fan. Yeah, this is my probably like 2.5 because I watched this fully today actually, but I watched this before in the past, never actually got to finish it. So
This
I'd
is
say
my second
2.5.
time watching it.
Yeah, it's tough though.
I don't remember if I seen it twice or 3 times. I could have swore I watched it like right after we watched it last year, just to make sure like it was as tough as I remember it being. But whatever, doesn't matter. One of our favorite movies from last year, Smile. We can jump right into it. Xander, the kid. Who's your favorite character? I mean, this is gonna be pretty fucking easy.
I'm gonna say Rose or either her ex boyfriend. I like him actually. He's a good supporting
Yeah.
character actually.
He's the
Believing
only
in her.
sensible
Most of the-
person in the fucking
Yeah.
movie.
He actually believes in him, but then he digs into it and he's like, all right, there's actually a chain. There's a link between all these people, which
Yeah.
obviously it sounds crazy what she's telling him, but there's proof that this shit's happening before. So I like how he's actually believing in her, not just calling her crazy.
Yeah.
But I'd say Rose, just Rose. She does an amazing job, the actor. Without her performance, this movie wouldn't hold. So I'd say
Yeah, I
Rose.
agree.
She does a good job coming off as manic at
Yeah.
when she needs to at certain times, just looking crazy, even though she's not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it's her.
I can definitely agree with you on that one. I mean, she's pretty much the focal point of the movie too, so
Yeah.
that also helps.
Yeah, ain't nobody else taking her job from her. She's the main character.
Yeah.
Through and through.
Yeah, no, I would say, I mean, if Rose wasn't in there, yeah, Joel, just because it's kind of like it's like a breath of fresh air when you have a character that believes, like in any of these
Yeah.
scenarios. Whenever you have a movie with this kind of premise where it's like a kind of a believe not believe thing, it's just nice when someone's like isn't just immediately calling cap. Someone isn't immediately being like, oh, you're wrong for these reasons, but like they haven't even heard her out. Or the one reason why it's it's hard to give it to Rose is because like she falls into that classic thing where she like starts her sentence with, "I'm not crazy, but now here's all the crazy shit I'm about to say." It's like, don't preface by saying you're not crazy. It's like me saying, "I'm not a murderer, but I'd fucking kill that guy." Like it's just not. It doesn't. It's just it's
It doesn't
annoying to
line up.
me.
I
No,
get that.
exactly.
She's saying to people, "I'm not crazy." What you know the situation.
Yeah.
What you're saying is
Yeah,
in itself
especially
crazy.
especially when it came to her. First of all, I think that shit was crazy with her. I mean, there's a lot of oh shit moments in this
Yeah.
movie, and I think that's why it's honestly
cat.
so. Yeah, exactly. The cat's just an easy one to pick on, and just in this scenario, it's like she never once said she was like, "Look, I own this cat for God knows how many years. I love this fucking cat." Like there was not no point where she was like, "Look, why the hell would I kill my cat? Like, why would I own it if I didn't like it?" Like, she's not using like the like. Sure, I mean, I guess you could potentially say that like whatever is controlling her could probably like be clouding her and all that kind of stuff. I mean, she is pretty fucking manic throughout this movie, especially like later on. But I don't know, man.
Mhm.
I just think there was numerous situations where she could have at least garnered some like, okay, I may not believe her, but like this wasn't her who did this kind of thing. Sure. But I'd say Joel's my favorite just because he's a fucking idiot for the end, and we'll talk about that. But I think he's probably like the character where I'm like least pissed off with him. But I mean, it's hard because Rose really is the only main character. Whatever. We'll do Rose and
Yeah.
Joel mix. Do you
Yeah.
guys have
Yeah,
any
I'll
least
say
favorite?
Rose and Joel.
Yeah, it's like Rose's performance is
her-
better, but Joel is like his character is
A
just
more
written,
relatable
like-
character.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's like, if I was in a situation, I'd do the same
Yeah.
things he's doing. Besides what he does at the end, look at her.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I wouldn't.
It's not even him. Like, he shouldn't have fucking been there. Like, but we'll
he
talk
knew.
about it.
Yeah,
Ugh.
he's fucked regardless. But my least favorite, probably the sister's husband. He's just fucking there, just
That's
mimicking
yeah.
whatever she says. Like he's just there, like just chirping in. Like that's all he's doing.
He's got no
the
spine.
fucking. Yeah, he don't wear the
No.
pants in a relationship. You can tell.
Yeah, he
Like that whole scene. I told you to take those out of the oven later. Like you're the one. Like she's the one controlling the whole relationship. You could tell the wife is.
Yeah, he's off.
And plus, when they're talking about selling that plot of land, like he's just chirping in. Like, first of all, that has nothing to do
Yeah.
with you. Like, I don't even know why he had to put his input there when
Your input
that's
is
between
not
two
mine.
sisters. Like, that's
Yeah.
their property. Like, I don't know why you're trying to convince her to sell it. Like, fuck off. But I'd just say he's just there being a fucking cuck. Basically, that's all I'd say.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
it's a respectable one.
Agreed. I'm also gonna throw A-Train in there too. Jesse.
I was literally about to say
because he a
fucking
hater.
Jesse.
I'm like.
I understand
like,
where he's
he has
coming
to
from.
be.
Nah.
Yeah, it's because like. So. Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely don't think he'd be my least favorite in this movie, but he's just annoying because I know what character he has to be in the story. Like, he has to be like the always like no matter what she says, you're fucking crazy, you're this, you're that. Like he's got to basically be the catalyst for like her to lose her mind. Like, because I think like she was almost grounded with him because I was even surprised the first time I watched it. I'm like, oh, it's kind of crazy that an engaged person could like kind of fall victim to this level of trauma. But I mean, obviously, you could see that it's not just from. It's like deep rooted, and everyone in the movie has that kind of deep rooted trauma, no matter what it is.
Mhm.
But I mean, he just dipped. Also, like I don't even know where he went after like that therapist meeting. Like he was gone, bro. Like
He was
he
gone.
didn't show.
He disappeared. He did what
Yeah,
he
he went-
needed to do. That was it.
I think,
Yeah.
because he was out of the story, but He stayed home and she was just in the car doing her own thing because I
Okay.
guess he was still supportive because he even texted her like, "Where are you? Are you gonna
Yeah.
come home?" Like, so he wasn't
Yeah.
completely like just dismissive of her and a scumbag.
True.
Like so I wouldn't give it to him
Just
as the worst
over
character.
time.
It was even towards the end of the movie, like the last time we seen him even say anything was his text to her, like, "Are you coming home?" So he still
Yeah.
cared,
True.
but like she was obviously just a nutcase, which wasn't her fault.
Yeah.
But if I saw my cat, first of all, my cat's missing. Like we don't know what happened to the cat. There's only 2 people in the house, and then the cat shows up at the birthday party.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was the only other person in the house that would have been able to put the cat in the box. Like unless somehow the person who broke into the house the night before did that, it doesn't make any other sense. Like like so I'd assume that my fiance is going crazy. So
It's just
I
process.
can't blame him.
Yeah.
And then like she's holding up a knife at him like late at night. Like come on.
Yeah. No, it's no, I agree. Like he has reason to be suspicious and like just overall like concerned. But it's just
Mhm.
I just cannot stand how bad they handle it in these movies. Like it just makes me so tight. It's like in Game of Thrones when like an event needs to happen, but like it's gonna like someone's death that could be so easily avoided, but it happens anyways because they want you to be like fuck. Like all it took was this one thing to not happen.
That happened.
But,
I
like
mean-
that occurred.
Exactly. I mean, like that happens in Game of Thrones all the time, but in this movie, it's like all she had to do was just sit him down and stop. I mean, it's difficult. I agree with you though, because it's like it's not. We're saying it off like we're trying to speak. I'm trying to speak reason into something that's clearly like supernatural. So I'll take that back. Because it's like you really can't you can't rationalize like sit down your husband or fiance or whatever and be like, look, there's this evil entity fucking haunting
Unless
me.
you
Like,
see it happening, like you
Yeah.
can't
I mean,
accept
look.
it unless you see it. Like it's just impossible. I'm
All
not
you have to
accepting that
do
unless I
is
see proof.
show him that one picture that guy drew of all black and just that white smile. Literally the creepiest thing I've ever fucking seen. That shit is straight
Yeah.
evil. Like that is like I
That is
never
haunted.
no like literally like holy fuck. Like how do you see
Yeah.
your husband draw? Because this is the other guy who was married to that woman for like 25 years or whatever it was. How the fuck do you see somebody draw it? And not immediately be like, oh my god, like.
I
Oh,
think
no,
something
like-
yeah, I wouldn't think this is just some normal mental illness.
No,
Like
like,
I've
they
seen
did-
all these drawings and I'm like, all right.
And they're all like the
this is
same
not
thing.
Something's
Like
going on
that,
here.
like that one
And
drawing
I'm
of like
not
literally
even
just
under
like
belief in supernatural. If I'm seeing some shit
Yeah.
like that, I'm like, all right.
and as you keep drawing the same thing, it's like maybe like it's difficult because like it definitely it preys on like that like the illusions of it, where it's like all these things they are experiencing could legitimately happen to someone who's sick, but it just comes down to like it's that extra real factor where like it's not just your brain playing games on you. Like there's legitimately something else living in your brain with you. Like that's kind of the thing that's hard to decipher between like. But shit, man, those pictures, like I was gonna save that for like make or break moments, but like every picture is somehow more hideous than the last. Like it is really, oof, it ain't right, bro.
What was
don't
that
worry
last
that.
bit you said?
I was just saying that every picture was more hideous than the last. Like that guy's all those drawings he was doing, like the one where it was like super
This is
fuzzy
something
around the eyes.
Again, as you're about to
Yeah,
say.
right as he was about to say what the fuck he was.
Yeah, hold on.
about.
Whatever,
We'll edit that out.
whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. We can go into. Let's just go into some of our make or break moments. What do you got, Xander? What do you got?
Oh, that therapist scene, yeah, that
Yeah,
one scene
oh.
when like she answers the door and then she's just talking to her therapist because obviously the therapist says something slick like, "I gotta make sure you're not a danger to yourself."
Danger to
before I
yourself.
can go. So that's the only way she was gonna get in. And then you get that phone call of the actual therapist there, and then the way she's smiling too is just so creepy.
The way all of them smile.
yeah, that was
All-
like the
yeah.
creepiest one.
Oh, all right. I gotta also give a shout out to the marketing in this movie because like them putting people smiling like that, like behind home plate at baseball games, like at basketball games, they were on the sidelines, like all over the place. There were just people smiling with that creepy fucking
Yeah.
smile that's all over all over the posters, stuff like that. Like that's what made this movie even a little more like
It's
believable
just
to me, or like kind of grounded it more because
hear
of the
me?
marketing. It was kind of similar to how it was in 2017 when that came out, because that was also around the same times that like those clowns or whatever was going around. Yeah,
No, you should just cut out. I was assuming you're still talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you're cutting out. Tough,
Fuck. Now it's sucking.
tough.
Fuck Riverside.
My face
I was like,
went.
you were chatting, and then all of a sudden it stopped.
The idea of turning like something like a smile that's supposed to be like a good connotation to it. I mean, it's fucking sinister the way they be smiling in that movie. Like, there's not a single smile that at all. Like, you think of smile and it's like, all right, this person's happy or this person's excited, blah 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 blah. But the smiles
Yeah.
that they're making are like they're not smiles anymore. Like, there would be a different word for what
It's
that
just
is. 'Cause-
menacing.
It's
It's
Yeah.
like
creepy.
it's
Yeah,
like
oh, yeah.
intimidating. Yeah, it's not like a friendly smile. This is like I'm gonna kill you type smile.
Yeah, this is like I'm no longer in
Some shit
control
you
of my
see in your
body. I'm about to
nightmares.
kill myself. Smile like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
what ends up
it's
happening most of the fucking.
that happens to everybody. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree, and I think it's just every horror movie needs like that one element, like that their like base or like their cornerstone that they go back to. And I think smiling is just a very it's just unique. I think this entire movie itself is unique. Like I think horrors just are very it's very rare to find a horror that is like doing its own thing, right? Like it's exploring a space that's like not as popular. It's not as easy, right? Like it's so easy to do, and it's like a scary house, a haunted house movie. It's so easy to do. Oh, this evil person is doing this and scaring kids or whatever. But like when you have like the psychological aspect of it, and I think that's why I like Candyman so much too. The original one, 1993 one or whatever, not the fucking new one.
Not the remake, not the fucking
Yeah,
remake.
that new
Yeah,
one mid. Yeah, I see that.
that shit is so
Never
mid.
been
I was so disappointed because you have or whatever. Like that's just
We'll
ridiculous.
talk about it
But
one
no,
day.
yeah, it's like it's the same concept though, where it's like the psychological thriller, it's the horror kind of thing, where it's like nobody really knows. Like that, I think it benefits
It's-
from.
I was,
I was gonna say it benefits from being obscure, but you can go ahead.
so this movie definitely has an element, like, of course we're so used to like the boogeyman or the slasher killer and like all this stuff, but it takes something so simple as a different psychological or just an entity that's not there, and there's a lot of movies, or not a lot, but there's some other movies out there that take this aspect of it, but I think this is one of the better instances.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I also like
Like
that it's. What you say?
no, I was gonna say because like what I said, like it's not there, and there's this one scene where I have it written down where Rose is like she thought she was doing something, and then she's like she has to let go of the past, and this isn't real. But then the entity says, "But Rose, it is real because it's in your mind, so I make it real." Like that part, I was like, "Yeah,
That
she
yeah,
thought she was doing something."
it's
Yeah,
like that's
your
one of the
mind
best.
makes it real. I love
That's my
that
favorite
exactly.
part in the whole movie.
It's like
That's
anything-
my favorite.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I mean that line alone like kind of explain. That's how everything is to everybody. Like nothing's real until you
It's trauma
see
in a
it.
nutshell.
It's in
Like
your
everything.
mind. Like
Yeah.
I mean that I feel like that's also kind of a I don't believe it until I see it type of mentality. But like it's true. Like a lot of us don't see things as real until we can physically see them, physically have them, at that image in our mind.
Yeah, that was a tough scene at the end. She honestly thought she would do something when she got away.
Yeah.
Though. Like,
Oh yeah. She's. It's alright if
Tough
I stay
scene.
here. It's like I'll stay
Oh, dear.
forever.
she,
And then she's just
she
like-
thought-
Like Dale
And
said,
then, oh.
probably the best in the movie.
Yeah.
like when she goes all the way to her ex-boyfriend's house.
Yeah.
She got away. Yeah.
No, it's
That
so
was
great
actually
because
tough.
like that's how you play. That's how you subvert expectations. Like that's the proper way of doing it. That's not some tongue-in-cheek way of doing it. It's like she thought she did something. She thought for some reason you could burn a non-physical entity, beat him into submission by like basically doing some It Chapter 2 type shit. It's like I'm sorry, but that's not how things work in real life, and I think that's why. Like the movie is very consistent with what it's trying to do. Like, we're not gonna have. That's why these movies always lose traction over time with sequels and trilogies and shit. Because like at some point someone's got to beat this monster, but I don't think anybody ever should. Like that's the point of it. Because because it isn't a monster, it's just trauma. Like that's why this movie. That's why I like the movie because.
Yeah.
Like sure, yes, it like there's a being, there's some sort of entity behind it, but like you can kind of interpret it as like it's just the trauma eats you alive. Like it makes you see things. It makes you like kind of like just have this weird way of rationalizing things. And I think a horror movie that's a horror movie that's grounded in realism, I think, is just always going to be successful. Like something that minus like one or two elements, like this is legitimately I could believe this happening. Like not I'm sure that there are definitely movies that are different than this and they're still good. But I think that's why I enjoy this movie, where it's like at the end of the day, like, it can really just be chalked up to trauma. Yes, you have that supernatural being, that entity or whatever, but
it's also just trauma. I mean, that's also like what you were saying. Like the trauma makes you like see things, imagine it's there, or
yeah,
But that's also kind of a whole thing behind PTSD. That is what PTSD kind of is.
Yeah, like let's say like her mom never died and her life was perfect. She had no problems and like there would be no trauma for that entity to latch on. Like it wouldn't take the image of her mom at the end and stuff like that because the person has nothing to hold. Like I mean, the entity has nothing to hold against that person. Like that's why all these people, even the previous person before that girl killed herself, like that person, his brother died in a car crash or an accident years ago. So then he would see his brother. Like it's just stuff like that. That this entity just finds its way onto people that have this trauma, and then the people outside like just think, oh, it's just the trauma that's causing all this stuff. Which I like.
It's like, oh, she's crazy, but like she just doesn't have control, and it's like it clearly shows that it is a Candyman-esque thing where the thing can control her. Like she loses consciousness, and that thing takes over her. Like she obviously wasn't under like a reasonable mindset, putting a fucking cat in present to give it to her nephew.
She probably killed the cat, honestly, but
no, she definitely did. No, she definitely did. That's what I'm saying. It's like I think that's what adds to even more of the eeriness of it, where it's like she's just legitimately not in control sometimes, and she has no fucking clue. It's like exactly it's like you said, like you're doing.
It's like what would you do if all of a sudden you found out you were doing
T. Usher or whatever his name is? It's like if he didn't do it, who else did it? And like and that's true.
Exactly.
It's like she must have done it. Like maybe it wasn't her per se, but it still was her. Like
she wasn't in her right mind, let's say. But that's why I can't be mad at his character, because his character, like from the beginning, like he starts off as the loving like fiance. Like he asks, "How's your day at work?" Then he hugs her.
Yeah.
Then shit starts hitting the fan once like first fucking she tries to attack him at night with the knife.
Yeah.
Then the cat. Then the other stuff of her bursting and yelling at him. Like it's just a whole bunch of things that even by the end of the movie, he's still texting her, "Where are you?" So I can't even be mad at his character.
True.
The first watch, I was like, "Oh, he's a scumbag." But then, like watching it again,
another scene. I mean, I love the scene too.
Thing.
But which ones did we say? We said the therapist scene. That one was excellent. I think that's like in terms
the
of like the bread and butter of this movie. Yeah, I think the movie with when she's on the phone, the scene when she's on the phone with the alarm company. That's really
the security
good.
Team. Yeah, that was a good one. Like he says, "Are you sure you haven't left something inside? Look behind you." Like that jump scare actually got me. Like I actually like.
I was like, jump scares don't normally do anything. That was a pretty good one.
It's just awesome when you can create stuff like that, and they were big with the whole phone thing. Like they really leaned into that heavy too, and that's what I'm talking about. Where like just consistency, like it's not some half baked creature where it's like, oh, sometimes he does this, sometimes he does this. Like this creature's legitimately just fucking wreaking havoc on her, and it's like it's
just playing with her.
Exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. It's like it didn't have to do any of that. It probably could have killed her the first night, but it enjoys it because it's giving her more fear. Like clearly, it's feeding off fear and trauma and like all that kind of stuff.
Like some people died in 4 days, some people died in like a week. Like it's just playing. It doesn't care.
Yeah, it's just it's as soon as you're not fun anymore, it fucking takes you, and the means by which it takes you too. Oh my god, bro.
Awful. Absolutely fucking awful.
Like, I would not wish that upon my worst enemy.
It even like obviously didn't actually like open up her mouth and go into her head or whatever it was. Like just like the imagery of it. Like, it's just unique.
It's horrifying.
It's like it kind of has its own.
In her mind, it did, because that's why she's like so paralyzed. Like that's why she can't move, because that's happening in her head.
Yeah. No, exactly. And like the whole like idea of like ripping its face off, like it doesn't mean anything to us. Like it's not like it's like, oh, it makes sense now that like it's always ripping its face off. But it did that multiple times in the movie, and it was never explained. But at least like it's that same that like you can I don't know,
the recurring thread
when you. There's just too many horrors nowadays where I feel like it's so gimmicky, like all the shit. Like they're just trying to make it as like I don't know,
cookie cutter.
No, I get what you're saying.
What else? What else is another good scene? Ooh.
There's a lot of good scenes.
I mean that
after the
surprise party.
Scene, like
or the birthday part, whatever the fuck.
Oh no, we already talked about that, but I'm talking about the scene after she gets that security call. Like the one scene, it's just her listening to the audio of her patient, and you hear
Yeah.
Rose, and then you hear it again, and then she like, and then you hear it again, but it's like actually like to the left of her, but it's like
Yeah.
a ghost or whatever, like the entity. Like that one actually got me that jump scare. So I'm listening for the audio of the like thing gonna say Rose again, but then it says it like mad loud in your face. Like that jump scare got me.
Yeah. And
That
it
was a good
doesn't.
one.
Heck, I can't hear you. Are you talking right now?
I was not talking. No,
He dead.
I wasn't. Can you not hear me right now?
He's talking, DL. He said he wasn't talking.
I can't hear him.
Damn, he can't hear you. He says,
You can hear me, Xander.
"I can hear you." Yeah,
Damn, DL, you throwing.
it's tough. Look,
The opening,
not
scene,
even
yeah.
opening.
The opening's
You
stupid
jump on
tough.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
It really throws you into the movie too, because like it just starts off so eerie, and then
Same thing with the camera angles for this movie too. Like, there's a lot of like just upside down shots, just like kind of like on purpose, not showing you like a classic horror stuff, but it has a little bit extra to it sometimes, which I think is appreciated.
There's little scenes like after she falls from the table after the party that she's looking at the happy sign. Like, well, what's your mood level? Like,
Yeah.
I like that. Like, she's looking at the 0, which is probably supposed to be the best one, but then it's like the worst is
Yeah.
smiling at her. I love that. Just a little
Mhm.
little touches.
the little
they add to the movie
details.
like that, yeah.
No, it's,
I do
this
like
mo-
that
this
one.
movie, it uses the little details a lot. Like it's what makes it very.
Yeah, it didn't have to add that scene at all. Like it could have just jumped to her looking at her fiance and her sister talking. Like, but I do
Yeah.
like that little bit of detail they had just for fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, the one last thing I'll talk about is when they went to go visit the only guy who broke the chain, and he flipped the fuck out when he realized it was her.
Yeah, I love that's one of my favorite scenes. I don't know how I forgot to mention
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's probably top 5 scenes for me because he's casual about it. He's like, I'm not gonna talk because the cops here. I can't talk
He's
about
like,
murder in front of the cop.
I
Yeah.
say, tell the cop to go away. Then all I see is like, you got it, and he starts fucking going
She's like, I just
ballistic.
can't kill somebody.
Yeah, she's like, you can't tell me to kill somebody. And he's like, what?
What?
He's like, you
Is
brought it here?
Honestly, I'd be flipping on that situation too because
Oh, yeah.
let's say this is the moment she finally like sees the enemy, she's gonna kill herself. Then you have it again, like that is an honest reaction to if that shit is right in front of you again. Like,
Yeah, it's
I
like
love that
it's
too.
like you literally fucking basically committed a miracle getting out of that thing's fucking grasp. Like literally, out of they said 20 people, 19 people died. It's like that's not something that happens very often. And then now he's got to hear about it again. It's like, fuck no. He's literally he said he confessed. Like he's happy being in jail. That's better than fucking.
He'd rather be in jail than ever experience that thing again.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because
I don't blame him.
he figured he was far, far, far away from that shit, and then all of a sudden she just pulls up with it.
He's like, nah,
I'd
fuck
be
that.
pissing myself. Like I'd be shitting bricks. I'd be no way. You gotta
He
go.
was.
You gotta go.
He was
Like,
shit.
that's why I love that scene. Yeah, because it's so realistic to what I'd be doing in that situation too. Be calling the guards, get this bitch out of here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably one of my favorite scenes. That's the top 5 for me.
Yeah, no, it was excellent. What else we got here? Favorite quotes. Actually, no, make or break. Yeah, we definitely already jumped into that.
Yeah,
we've
been
we've been tapped in.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite quotes. I think you said Xander already when talking about. Oh, are you sure? Are you sure you haven't let something inside, Rose? That was.
With the security. Yeah,
That's
I
just
like
said.
that one.
It's just.
creepy.
Yeah, it's very, very creepy. Like this movie just does a really good job of getting under your skin. Like that's their.
Yeah.
If they had one purpose for this movie was to get under your skin, they succeeded. Like
Absolutely.
at a very minimum, it's just so uncomfortable. Like even the scene when like even the therapist like that lead up to like her barely even being able to hold the phone when she's like, "Oh, this is your therapist. Like, is everything all right?" Then she looks at her, she's like, "No."
She's like,
No.
no.
And she
Smiling.
literally is like, it's perfect. It's not like she like drops her phone. Like she literally is just frozen. Like her phone isn't up to her face. It's not on the ground, but like it's kind of in the middle between her hand and like her chin. Like it's just perfect. Like it's just fear. Like they do a great job at like showing how terrifying and like just unbeatable.
That is a horrifying situation. Like I can
Yeah.
imagine like every one of those phone calls. I can imagine just how I'd react in that situation because you get
Yeah.
that phone call from your security team talking about, did you check behind you? Like I'd be like, no. Like I honestly would
Yeah.
not know.
You
I just
shit
run
in
straight
bricks.
forward. I wouldn't look behind. I just run straight forward because why would I turn around?
Yeah. No, exactly. They do a great job of making you feel safe, just to be like, yeah, there was no safety to begin with. I mean, the ending is a perfect example of
That's
it.
that's the whole point of the movie. Is like you think you
Yeah,
feel safe during this scene. Talking to a
yeah,
therapist should be the safest point of the movie,
yeah.
and then it's like one of
It's
the
not even
most
fucking
anxiety filled.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's just crazy. And even like yeah, like you said, that smile. I agree with you. I think that probably is the creepiest fucking smile. Like that shit is
that
fucking
looked
horrifying.
demonic.
Yeah,
Like
no,
just the way
OD.
she looked like a demon out of a fucking
Yeah,
book.
and even the way she just kind of like pulled up on her, and the way she was like drooling, like when she put her hand on her, it's like,
Yeah,
It's one of the most creepiest things I've ever fucking seen.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like all those pictures that we saw, like anyone who like anyone who has seen this movie, like just watch that scene again. Like those pictures ain't right, man. They're not right. Like it's not easy for a picture to like get a rise out of me. But just looking at it, it's like, Jesus, like
that one scene where she's talking to the guy's wife, like that quick flash of that scene, like
yeah,
that's just nasty the way that guy's looking. Like there's the
yeah,
gore
no,
in the movie is just over the top.
yeah, because it does like it kind of just like it throws everyone off the scent. Like when you brutally kill yourself like that, like, everyone's assuming like, oh, we don't even want to dig this up. Clearly, it's a suicide. They're crazy as shit. I mean, the cops did basically personified everyone in that movie. That one cop, he's like, oh, she sounds like she sounds like a real head case or
Yeah.
something like that. Like just immediately assuming just because she killed herself that there's something wrong with her. Like, I mean, yeah,
When
It's
sometimes that's
realistic,
not
though.
even the case.
yeah, exactly. No,
Because if I see that in real life, I'm a cop. I'm seeing someone take like
yeah,
a the fucking hedge cutters for the bushes, like and shove
yeah,
it
like
down there.
holy
Like, I'm
shit.
thinking you're just an absolute fucking lunatic.
Yeah,
Like,
because
I'm
like
not
who
even
the fuck
digging
does
into
that?
that.
Especially like with a
Yeah,
smile too. Like that shit is legitimately
yeah.
fucking.
I'm
That
not
shit's
looking
evil.
any more into that because I don't want to look at the photos anymore or the body. So we're
Yeah.
just calling this case a suicide.
We're
That's
calling
what
it as
most
is.
of it
Like,
is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it helps, but it like definitely one of my yeah. It's like I mean we haven't got to it yet. Actually, I'll just wait till we get there. What are we at right
You
now?
think they would have pieced
I'm
it
out.
together?
Yeah, no,
I
exactly. That's
won't
what I'm
say
saying.
yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
yeah. That you think the
It's like
previous
I
detective
mean,
would have pieced it together?
by 20 or 21, whatever it is, people.
yeah, it's like two,
Yeah.
three. All right, make coincidence, but like when you literally have a very tightrope, tight knit pattern, like this person sees this guy die, this person kills himself. Like obviously, I get it's like oh maybe they're just traumatized, but like you have these some you look at some of these people's credentials, it's like
It's
they had
gone
no
through
reason to
20,
do it.
like 20,
Yeah.
but like 20 people. You're not
And
gonna
that's just a one chain. That's just that chain. Like, because I remember that guy was talking about when he was researching it. It's just like, it's not even. It's like death almost, where it's like it's not like one being. Like it's like oh this is the one chain that it only like can only be one place at once. Like you're
It's
talking about there was
happening
one in
everywhere.
Brazil. Exactly. Like it's not. It's not like oh there's one being that they can only be at one place at one time. So as long as this chain's going on, it can't just start somewhere else. No. Yeah, I'm assuming it's just like
I mean, what
anywhere.
would happen? What would happen if two people like saw someone kill themselves? That
I
happened.
wonder if it yeah. I wonder if it is one chain or it can be multiple chains
I
because
mean, maybe
maybe
that's
there's
the
chain from
sequel.
Brazil, Paul
Maybe the
Lincoln,
sequel is two people seeing it at the same time.
Yeah.
but
I'm just very wary of a sequel. I just don't think we need to see.
I
No,
think
this needed to
yeah,
stay a
no
one off, in
sequel.
my
Yeah.
opinion.
I think the way to break this chain though is all right. The guy killed someone and then made someone else watch, but then you kill that person who watched. Like then you kill yourself. That completely gets rid of the
Jesus.
entity. That's the only way to break the chain if you want to make everyone else in the world
No.
survive.
I feel like
Yeah.
Rose kind of had it right, where it's like, I mean, she for some reason didn't kill herself. I mean, like, I get it,
Nah,
but like, but like,
she
but
thought she had it, but then even at the
honestly,
end, it came
I just don't
back.
think it would let. I don't think it would let her. Honestly, if we're being
I was
honest,
literally
I
gonna
don't
say
think
like I don't know if it would
let her
happen.
do it because the whole point is that in order to survive, it needs another person. Like that's why it even made her run out the front door
Mhm.
to see Joel
And
at the end. Like it literally chased her out of the house, his place or whatever. And then as soon as she's like conscious again, she's looking right at him. So clearly he was
Yeah.
stalling. Like that's what this whole thing was her just like that thing just
Because
being
yeah, it
played.
could have done it at any point. It's just waiting for
Yeah.
someone to be a witness. I guess you're
Yep.
right. Yeah, it's always gonna stall until somebody's looking. So no matter what you try to do, it's just gonna be in
Yeah.
the cut lurking. But I was thinking that if she just killed herself and while no one's looking,
Yeah.
the thing would probably stop her.
Yeah, I
But
just can't say I can't see it not like taking over. Like if clear, it's just
mhm.
like we have evidence of it literally doing. We don't see
yeah, of
her.
like the cat dying because nothing
Yeah.
else is gonna kill the cat. It isn't shown if it's being able to
Yeah.
like physical.
And it's one thing.
physically be in
It's
this world.
it's one thing if the cat's dead, but it's a whole other thing. The fact that it's in the present, like that, is human intervention. Like there's a person
Yeah.
who had to wrap that present. Like
And
Exactly. It's like
whether it was the being
this-
itself or her
Mhm.
as the being.
I don't think it was the being that hasn't shown the being to ever be like in the physical world. So I'm thinking
I don't
was
think it
just
would
her
be.
seeing her,
Or
under its control.
that's
under her
that's one
control.
thing that
under,
I hope
yeah,
the
under energy
sequel
control. I mean,
I hope the sequel stays with is not showing the being at all, because I could see them
Yeah.
doing some stupid origin shit or some stupid fucking like
Yeah.
making it a being that actual like a living thing.
Yeah.
Like they need to stay far away from that. Leave
I
it
think
to
it's different for everybody. Because that one guy who was drawing it just saw that black face with that smile, like, and then she at the end saw her mother burnt body with the peeled face. But I think it's different for everyone what they see,
Yeah,
which I
believe
do
it.
like.
Yeah, no, I definitely believe it. Yeah, no, I agree with you though, Hag. It's like it is no business showing it. Like it's
We talk
like-
about it a lot. Like
yeah,
this is a time where you need to tell, not show.
yeah, or just like leave it like
Leave it up to
obscure.
mystery.
Like yeah, exactly. Like just there's no reason to if there was a reason to have I mean, obviously the movie made a lot of money. It was very successful, so on paper it's going to get a sequel. Like that's just how any business works, whether it's Hollywood or literally a fucking candy store.
Mhm.
But
Unfortunately,
so the sequel is always inbound. It's always going to happen. But I just hope, like you said, I hope they do it right. Like I think it could be done right. I think a sequel could definitely, as long as they stick to like what made the first movie successful. But who knows, man? As soon as money starts getting involved, it kind of just
As soon as suits start getting involved.
just shits the bed.
Absolutely.
yeah, no sequel fucking required for this shit.
Deal, you said you had a yeah moment. I don't know if we just
It was just like what Xander said. How it's like
They should have figured it out.
somebody, like even if they didn't act on it, there should at least been like, all right, yeah, we know that these people are like there has to be something, man, because
Maybe
it
someone
really is.
did, but you just don't want to be seen as a fucking crazy person. But if you show someone evidence of it, like it's just hard to like dispute this evidence. Like, all right, like
Yeah.
there's fucking 20
It's also-
people have seen this shit.
But
None.
also, like, yeah, I know. But and to what I'll say on that is, if I came across something like that, I'm closing that fucking book and I'm burning that fucking book. Like
yeah.
that's it. Like it's just like as soon as you see that there's like something supernatural is going on, clearly, because it's not like one person's killing 20
Mhm.
people and like hasn't been caught and has no witness and always says they killed themselves. Like it's too buttoned up to be anything besides like, unless it's like the most in cahoots fucking suicide ever. But like
Yeah, unless it's like
could
a
take
cult suicide.
Exactly.
Like, that's what he said he thought it was. Oh, I thought this was
Yeah.
just some cult suicide thing going on.
exactly. But it's like when it's that, like when everything is like literally the smiling, the needing a witness, the always
There's
being
two-
one witness.
There's too
Mhm.
many things that point to one thing being a common, like there's too many common denominators. That's the word I was
Yeah,
looking
Yeah.
for.
too many comments. Yeah.
There's too many common denominators where it's like, all right, something's going on here. Someone should have
Oh,
figured that out.
absolutely. Yeah. It's like maybe they did and they don't want to find out anymore.
I mean, that could be the case too. They're just too scared.
Yeah. I mean, you ain't beating this thing. That's why I enjoyed so much about it. Like, it's the payoff on this movie is excellent. Like
Yeah,
you just
she tried, yeah.
you know,
She
like
tried
you getting to the end of the movie and it's like you ain't gonna fucking roll up your sleeves for this one. I'm sorry. Like,
It's not
Yeah,
a
like
happy
you said,
ending.
DL. If I found out what this was, and like I said, I'm closing this book and I'm burning it. I'm not.
yeah, like
investigating this.
I'm going to another town. I'm never fucking seeing any of these people again. Like, it's just evil.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I'm
the
not
type of
taking
shit
the
where
risk
it's
of
like,
that shit catching on to me. You're right. I'm moving
Yeah.
on.
yeah, I'm fucking off that. Do I have any other yites? I don't think so.
'Cause I don't really have much else. It's a fairly grounded movie.
hmm
I'm just looking
I was gonna say I
have
do
the
like
movie on
Rose.
in the background
you
right
say?
now. It's got-
Oh, you got that
I have
shit
the movie.
cooking.
I have the movie on in the background right now, and A Train just came on the train. I just had to point that out.
Hey, train.
I was gonna say though, I liked Rose's character because she could have easily just killed that mental patient at the hospital in front of the doctor and just broken the chain, but I feel like that's just not in her character to do something like that. Because she just devoted her whole life to being like a
Yeah.
therapist. So
Yeah.
I do like that little touch. That's like she even told the guy at the jail, "I just can't kill someone." And then she thought about it. She even went to the hospital. She thought about it, and then she still was like, "All right, I can't do it. Maybe I have to just
Yeah.
fight this thing." And then she's.
I don't know, man. I'm just not
a
convinced
tough end,
that
honestly.
that thing was ever gonna let her was never not going to let her get taken by it. Like, even the fact that it showed her the illusion of her doing it just to show her what could have been, just to take it away from her, like the same way he does at the end. Like, it really was, it was enjoying itself with her. Like,
I think you can beat it. Yeah, no, it was fucking with her, OD. But I think you can, because if that black guy did it, like fucking,
yeah,
she could do it too.
yeah. But
So
it's also like 1 in 19, 1 in 20, where it's like, I think it's more than just him killing somebody. I think it's like willpower takes into effect, where it's like
True.
maybe it was right away, or
fight it off.
exactly, or maybe like she was already too gone by that point. Like I'm sure, like the numbers mean something. Like I'm assuming the 4 to 7 day range mark is significant for a reason. I would have to assume. Like I'm assuming those first couple days are like maybe you have a chance of getting out in the first couple days, and then after that 4 day, maybe it's wraps. Like as soon as you get that first meeting, because it honestly was pretty tame in the beginning, right? Like it was like occasional hallucinations, maybe a couple like a jump scare or two, maybe hearing stuff.
You see people smiling occasionally, like walk back.
Yeah, but like when you literally with the therapist, by the time the therapist pulled up on her, it was literally like a physical, like literally could put her hand on her face. And she like I think it's too late at that point.
Yeah, I think you're done. Yeah,
I literally told her it's like it's almost time. Like
if you maybe try to get rid of it earlier on.
Mm-hmm. That'd be my guess.
Maybe that's what that guy figured out. But I think he might have figured it out late because he was terrified. Like he must have been seeing some shit for him to be freaking out that way.
Yeah.
Like to even like to make yourself want to kill someone else. Like he must have been on his last legs. I feel like too. I feel like he must have been like at the last day for him to just be like, fuck it, I gotta kill someone or this thing's gonna get me. I feel like you don't do that unless you're desperate. Like that's not something for a second day. Like, all right, I'm just gonna kill someone because I'm
maybe it just gave him the ultimatum.
Yeah. Maybe his life wasn't fun enough. Like he was messing with this person because she had like family.
Oh yeah.
Like sister. Like it just wants to mess with more
she had so much trauma. Oh my god.
It fucked Rose.
I mean, like it literally said like she's like, why are you doing this, man? And he literally is like, because your mind is so inviting. Like, like exactly. Jesus, man. Like,
she had that much trauma that he could feed off of. That's what it was.
It just dummy good.
Feasting.
Ugh. Yeah. It ain't right, man. I mean, I'm not even gonna bring my mic up to my face. This is a horror movie, y'all. Like, I mean, this isn't like old horror. I won't even say that because I remember I feel like that was like the cornerstone of old horror was like the couple that was always fucking that got killed. But this isn't one of those. That's like a Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street type beat.
Yeah.
The lovers always get smoked first, but in this movie, unfortunately, that's not the case. It's literally just Rose, and then you have like in orbit, like those kind of like semi-main characters, like the Joels, her sister. Yeah, exactly. Holly.
That's her sister's name, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. I thought that was her niece. I'm like, damn, Hag, what's up with that?
No. The grown ass woman. The grown ass woman.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah, I guess so.
What was I gonna say? Oh, this is not even related to this movie, but we should fucking cover the Invisible Man, the new one. That one tough.
That's true. Tough. That movie's stupid tough.
Need to do that later on. But we can continue.
What else we got besides that? Like I said, Thursday moment. I don't think there's not much substance with that.
There's nothing much we can really go on for there.
Yeah,
hard to say the sister.
Yeah,
she got that body, but that's about it.
We picking at straws. All right, let's go over the question of the week. Once a week on Saturday ish, we ask you guys to vote after we post the teaser. So if you don't like, so here's the order. You see the post. I mean, so you have post notifications turned on. Obviously, you see the Staincast has made a post. You like the post. You comment because you can, and it's free. And then after you comment, you read the comments, you're like, oh shit, question of the week reminder. And then you go over to our story and you vote on that shit. And that's it. That's how you do it. That is the weekly Staincast maneuver.
Yes, sir. That is how it should be every Saturday-ish. You guys should have this down to a T at this point. We've been doing this for a while, so...
All right, and I asked you guys what makes a movie or show memorable to you. I was kind of just after before watching this movie, I just know that this movie was very memorable to me. There was a lot of scenes, like basically all the ones we talked about. Like it's a movie you can watch once and still remember it pretty vividly, even a couple months afterwards, which I think was pretty which is interesting. So maybe they're like, all right, what about a movie makes you guys kind of remember it? So we got some mixed answers. Some of them are the same, some different. Mr. Jacob Livigny.
Yes, sir.
It makes you feel real emotion. I agree. I think any good movie has that kind of scene where it's like more than like it's
Whatever emotion it's
it's
trying to portray, it has.
yeah, exactly. If it works, it evokes it out of you as well. So you kind of have that connection to the movie. Agreed. Posk, Mr. What do I want
Ron
to call him?
Kosk.
Ron Posk. Thank you. I was trying to think of what I want to
Cool.
call him. The characters first and foremost. Everything else is a bonus.
That's
He,
I can respect that, but that's
it depends on the genre.
yeah, very true.
I feel like you can have mid characters, but you can have an amazing
A
story and it
memorable
works.
movie,
Like,
yeah.
let's say like Tenet, the main character Tenet is like fucking the protagonist. His name is not even relevant. Like his character, whatever. It's the plot that's relevant. It's like what's happening that he has to stop is what's relevant.
Is what makes it.
I feel like it's all about the story, the plot. If you don't have a good story, there's nothing to go off. You can have amazing characters, the perfect character, but what is he doing in a plot that's useless? Like it's just it
Yeah.
always comes down to the story at the end of the day.
Yeah,
You can even
I-
have like mid actors. Like sometimes like Keanu Reeves isn't the best actor, but I love him. But sometimes he's not the best, but he'd be in some good stories like the first Matrix or just the John Wick
Yeah.
movies. It's just like that.
I think it's. I mean, like everything, it depends. Sure, I'll throw that out, and I'm sure everyone loves to hear that. But it's like music when you have like sound versus lyrics, or however you'd say it, where it's like if one is good enough compared to the other, it can kind of supersede it. Like if your voice or whatever is just so much better than the beat you're singing on, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. But it's like there needs to be it has to get a pretty big, it has to be pretty large, the gap. Like it has. I'm trying to think how you'd say it.
I just
But-
feel like for me, it can never work without a good plot. It's like that Moon Knight finale. It's like the character of Mark
Yeah.
Spector amazing, but then look what happened to
The plot of the
fucking
finale, yeah.
Like his character's still the same. It's just his plot that the character's
Yeah.
in is just dog shit. So that's what I mean by you cannot have a good story without a good plot.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
music, that music scenario you're saying, that I get. Like I totally
Yeah.
get that. The lyrics over the
Yeah.
just like the sound, the actual sound,
Yeah.
but not for
I'm
movies,
just trying to think. I think it was more so older movies where like character traits were kind of just like super like
cut and paste.
yeah, exactly. Like there was like all right, the villain, the hero in the middle, that's it. But nowadays like
Mhm.
there is so much intrigue with characters. There's so many different types of characters where I think the case could be made. But yeah, I really can't think off the top of my head a great movie with mid characters. I'm
Mhm.
trying to think. But like an all-time movie, like where it's like I'd watch this again. I mean, I guess technically Avatar. Technically, like I'm not calling it great, but money says a whole nother
It
thing
is.
about it.
Yeah, I mean,
But the
so-
characters are mid.
Yeah.
So for me, I mean, do we want to read the rest of the responses? Or
Yeah,
should
well,
I
yeah,
give mine?
yeah. We'll go real quick. Olivia Jones said, "An unexpected twist." This movie has a whole lot of those, and I agree with you. That's kind of plays into rewatchability, just
Absolutely.
overall enjoyment. It's like if you're just gonna go from point A to point B for an hour and 50 minutes, I'm not like that's
That's not what
whatever.
I'm looking for.
Yeah, especially in horror when you had basically can do whatever you want because you're in the sandbox. Chet said, Mr. RP24, not to be confused with Chet Stable, said,
Yes,
good
sir.
dialogue and knowing how to make an ending. That's specifically that last part,
True.
Chet, is
That
very
ending is
fucking
true.
important.
Yeah, we've been over that with Marvel.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to add a little something to your chat. And just knowing when to fucking stop is another big one,
Also
too.
really important.
Yes,
because
that's
if you
very
just keep
important.
milking it, I'm trying to think of a show that just didn't stop. That Walking Dead needed to
Yeah.
stop that.
Oh, yeah,
It's
that
like,
needs
it's
to
like
end
just
way longer.
stop. Literally just stop. Danny said DILFs. Sure, I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, in the other side of the spectrum, I'm sure if there was some MILFs on there, I do agree.
That is true.
Yeah, 100%. Sex sells, baby. It
That's
do.
true.
Umbrella kind of echoing what a couple other people said. A shocking twist or something unexpected happening, 100%. It's like that's kind of like how you distinguish the movie from everything else. It's like, oh,
But it has to be warranted though. It can't be a twist out of nowhere just because it's
yeah,
just shocking. Like out of nowhere, you just kill off the second main character, and there's no reason,
yeah.
rhyme or reason. Like it
That
has
was
to be
that was
for a
me
reason.
with. I agree, and I have a good example for that. The Kingsman movie, the one from World War I or whatever it was.
The new one,
The,
the
yes,
newest one.
I believe so. Yes. Anyone who hasn't seen it, skip forward like 20 seconds, but it's been out for a little while. About 30 to about halfway, maybe a little less than halfway into the movie, they kill the main character.
What the
It's
fuck?
like
Wait, what?
why?
So
Like
they kill the main character. He gets fucking shot in the most unceremonious. He's in a trench, and his guys think that he's a bad guy, so he gets killed by friendly fire.
it's
Are you
stupid.
serious?
I'm 100% serious. I
It's,
almost turned the movie off. I
so is
finished
there
it just.
another
I,
character after that? Like that takes over
uh,
the main character?
yeah, kind of, but I mean, it was just weird when you set up an entire character and like
Yeah, that's
he had this pretty big arc, and then he got killed by friendly fire. Like it was bad. Like I now I remember it. He was all dirty from the trenches, and he drops into his trench, and he has like an enemy gun because he was like basically escaping with his life from their trenches. And he was like in no man's land. He
yeah.
pulls up, and they're like, "How do you have this?" Pulls a gun, shoots him in the head. Doesn't even get to explain himself.
That is
What the
stupid.
fuck?
It's wild, bro. It is
And most of
fucking
the times you would take a
wild.
prisoner of war, like if they're not trying to shoot at you.
It was
You don't
wild.
just
Now
shoot
it was legitimately fucking wild. I was like,
people. Yeah, that's dumb.
yeah, that shit was
I ain't
crazy.
watching
I,
that.
I can't believe that. Wow.
Yeah. So
That's
so to your
ridiculous.
so to your point, Mom, and to Xander's point as well, it has to be at least based in some sort of reason. Like you can't be doing it to be like, all right, I need two twists in this movie. You can't like unorganic. You can't just unnaturally make them be like, oh, this my movie has to have two twists. It needs to have a fucking cliffhanger ending. It needs to have a character. Like no, you can't make a movie like that.
Yeah,
I mean, you
not for
can,
shock.
but it's not gonna come. It's gonna be very fucking like
Yeah.
like
Mid.
pigeonholed as fuck. Yeah.
So for me, I agree with Chet a lot. Where or RP24, not to be confused with Chet Stable, where good dialogue definitely helps because like I'm remembering a movie for its quotes for like stuff that like just tough scenes like some of the best
Yeah.
scenes in 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 all the cinema in my opinion are dialogue scenes. The entire Joker Batman interrogation from the Dark Knight, the entirety of the
Yeah.
Loki finale is an entire conversation, and that shit's tough as nails. Like, or even going outside of that, like we were talking about this last week with all of Tarantino's movies, where dialogue, like all of his movies are dialogue heavy. Like that is the point of his movies.
Let's say
And
some of the best conflict in movies are just dialogue scenes
Di-
between two characters trying to win over like their point, like an argument.
Yeah.
Like, those
Exactly.
are the best like conflict scenes to me sometimes, honestly.
yeah, so for me, like that's why dialogue and rememberable dialogue, quotable dialogue, good dialogue, just that's what that means like a lot to me. When it comes to making a movie rememberable, but it's also the rewatchability is a big aspect of it too. Because like if I can watch this movie numerous times and never get bored of it, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, then like that's what makes it such a good movie and remember.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like it's just like at the very base, it's got to be enjoyable. I think that's kind of like what all these, what everyone else is kind of going around the same, like going around the same circle. Where like you just gotta, you just gotta like it. Like it's
Yeah.
got to be a likable movie. Like you can't be. I don't know. It's definitely a
Yeah.
big conversation.
I feel like there could be movies that I feel like I'm trying to think like that aren't enjoyable that are good movies. Like they're just meant to make you feel uncomfortable. I feel like there's certain movies I would never watch again, but I can understand why it's a good movie. It's like I'm trying to think like some people didn't like Joker, but they thought it was a good movie because it made
Yeah.
them feel uncomfortable. Like I like movies like those, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I get that.
I'm trying to think of another movie that's not
No-
enjoyable, but it's a
No
good
Country
film.
for
Like it
Old
just makes
Men.
you feel like shit.
No Country for Old Men.
I like
But-
that movie.
I didn't like it, but yeah, no, I agree. I just would never rewatch it. I think that's where I'm at with that movie. I think it was. I think the character. No, whatever. I'm not gonna get into the whole fucking Anton. Fucking
Maybe another time.
yeah.
But I guess them ratings is that what we're up to already?
Yeah, it works with me.
All right. If you missed it, we decided that for all of our reviews coming forward, we're going to start giving them a letter grade S through F. And for this movie, Smile, what are we giving it? Who wants to go first?
A.
I'm gonna go. I was gonna go B plus.
I was going to go B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say A
B
just
plus
because.
or A
No, no,
minus.
yeah. You. I mean, you guys can. Oh, so what do you think, Xander? Why'd you give it a B plus or whatever you said? A
Because I
minus?
feel like well, the way I go S tier is just for
Oh yeah, no,
those movies
yeah,
are just perfect. Those are like almost perfect movies. Like I'll give
Yeah.
to Across the Spider-Verse.
yeah.
A tier is like I'd say like a 90, 90 to 85 through 90. So I'm just gonna have to
Yeah.
put it through that. I'm just gonna have to put it to that like 75, 80. I'm leaning more towards 80, so that's why I want to go like A minus.
Okay.
Okay.
That's just how I'm like trying to rate it.
So
Yeah.
for me, like similar to what you said, Xander, like the S tiers are just like those are the
Yeah.
goated movies.
This
Like,
movie's not
Reserved
S
for
tier.
yeah, reserved
And
for
like,
gold.
this is
I,
the
I, I
real
think. I think an S tier is also an eye test too. I think it's just point blank. You could tell me a movie, and I'm telling you if it's S or not. Like I don't really need to
Yeah.
go into some thick dialogue. Like there's just some
Yeah.
movies that just don't crack it. Like
Inglorious
Yeah, and
Bastards.
so-
like that,
Yeah.
that was just S tier.
So
Yes.
and then going to why I can't give this an A, it's for me it's still a horror movie. Like yes, it's a good horror movie, but like it's not groundbreaking either.
okay,
Mhm.
So it's a good horror movie. It's got a pretty decent story. It's got an incredible creep factor behind it and horror aspect to it. But I don't know. I just can't give it that A ranking, so I got to put it in the B.
Reasonable.
so I'm with you too. I agree. I think this movie definitely like an A minus would be somewhere in that tier. Like, it's not like high A. Like there are definitely better movies, but I think if you take a step back, just in the genre of horror, especially, I mean, Jacob mentioned it on the Instagram. Horror really hasn't been good. It
No,
hasn't been good
not
for
at
a
all.
while.
A lot of
Horror,
it's dog shit.
yeah, no, like of course there are exceptions. Like I think recently we have been getting some pretty decent horror movies,
Yeah.
but horror just it's like comedy, right? It's like as soon as one formula sells, they'll just keep pushing it out. They'll keep pushing.
Over
Look at
and
the fucking
over and over.
look at
and
the
over
look
and
at the
over.
Nun or whatever it is. Like, oh, like insert any horror franchise. There's 10 Saws apparently. I didn't even know that. I watched Saw 10 recently. Actually, a good decent movie.
Actually
What-
good, yeah.
Exactly. We'll
I
talk
still
about that
haven't
another
seen
time.
it.
But there's 10 of those movies. There's probably like 30 Friday the 13th. Like there's so many of the movies because as soon as they
There's
find a formula that
15.
works, it's ridiculous. It's unbelievable. It's like you don't see like even in the land of sci-fi, you don't see 15 of the same fucking movie. Like it's only in horror this happens. Comedy, the most you get is a trilogy before they cut that shit out because it's just not like that usually. Hangover.
But horror just has a bad rap.
Yeah, there's it's
straight to DVD or fucking
Yeah.
straight to streaming or
and it's a slippery slope
revivals,
because
reboots. This person's imagination. This person's imagination. This person's imagination.
yep.
It's
Oh, retelling of this. Oh, new director on this. Oh, new source material on this.
It's
See, the problem is
crap.
also
that's all I got to say.
Exactly.
It's crap.
yeah, it's like horror just has the most. I don't even really know how to describe. Like, it's just so much different than the rest of the genres for the reasons I said. It's like what
a
actually
lot of
would.
it just I was gonna say a lot of it's just tasteless. That's why
Yes.
the critics and the review just give it a bad rate because a lot of it like it's just gore. At the end of the day, it's
Yeah.
just the same plot you've seen over and over again with different
Yeah.
characters or different monsters, different spirits, different
Yeah.
possessions. So a lot of it isn't groundbreaking or new. That's why you just see another horror movie and it's either good or shit. Like that's just
Yeah.
how most people feel
Yeah.
about it. So that's why
I
it gets a
agree.
bad rep.
No, I agree.
Like only the good ones ever get like a standing ovation where people actually talk about it or tell you to watch this movie. Like a lot of it's just why the fuck am I ever gonna watch the Nun 2? I walked out the
Yeah.
first one. I'm not seeing the second
I'm
one.
not seeing
So
the
why are they
second one.
making the second one? That's why like, I just don't like
Yeah.
a horror movie genre. Like it's my least favorite genre for a reason. Like
Yeah.
I'll check it out when there's a good one, but I'm not a huge horror fan because a lot of
Yeah.
it is just shit. So
No, I agree. It's the most recycled
yeah,
content,
that-
like
that
out of
is
any
true.
genre.
That's
And that's saying
comedy.
and that's saying
Yeah.
something because comedy is fucking ridiculous for that.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
that's
the early
saying
2000s
something.
were crazy. With
And
the
this
Like
is
scenes.
even
there,
more
there was like 20 clones of the same comedy between like 2000 and 2010. It's fucking
Yeah.
wild.
It's
But-
disgusting.
Yeah, I'll just say under the scope of horror, it's an A. Especially as we haven't had a lot of good ones in a while. Two,
True.
I think, considering how recycled horror is, it's very original. Like I said, the concept of turning something like a smile into a negative, I think, is pretty smart.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
the
that was just
marketing
cool.
is a
That was-
plus as well.
yes,
Mhm.
and like, I mean, I was just hooked at first sight. Watching that trailer, I was watching on YouTube, and it was like probably 2 minutes of that her with their patient that cuts her face off. how she gets it, because I was in the trailer. I was hooked. As soon as I saw, I'm like, all right, I don't need to see anymore. Like, I'm gonna watch this movie now. Like, it's just they know they knew
know what
how
they're doing.
they knew how to angle it exactly. And it's also because when you throw a rated R on something, it immediately cuts in half who can watch it. So that's also like I mean, for people like us, I don't care, but there's like obviously there are interested parties like critics where it's like, look, I got kids, I can't see this movie. Like it's realistic. I understand it, but for me personally, that doesn't affect me. So
No. So
A minus for me.
B for me.
Yeah, somewhere between A and A minus. I'll just say A just to round it up. Just to
Yeah.
keep it nice and tidy.
But on that note, thank you, of course, for the kid for joining us. Thank you all for
Of course.
tuning in this week. And don't forget, as usual, go down below, hit subscribe, like, comment, ring the notification bell if you're listening to this on Spotify. Make sure you follow us and leave us a review. Go over to our Instagram at the Staincast to follow us, turn on post notifications, and click the link in the bio to buy some merch. And don't forget that every Saturday-ish, we post our teaser and the question of the week. And for next week, we will be posting about
What is
The
it?
Shining,
Mm,
a
Oh!
classic, The Shining. And we will see you guys
classic.
next week.